Today we have a very awesome speaker. It's Thomas, and he's from Clinic Success Partners, and he's going to give us a talk on don't get left behind, how AI is the key to clinic growth in 2025. So without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to Thomas, and I'm going to be putting his booking link in the chat. It is pinned there, so if you feel that this is for you, please book a call with him. And if there's any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat, as well as if there's uh, any meetings that you'd like to book, or you want to drop off early, you can book him on the schedule call. So without any further ado, this is going to be an absolute belter. I'm going to leave the floor to him.
Thank you so much for that, Jean. First of all, great to be running this webinar today. And I suppose, first of all, I want to preface this by saying I want this webinar to be as interactive as possible. I'll be going through a lot of different things, a lot of different lessons, a lot of different, I suppose, the learnings from a lot of scars we've picked up from our own agency, Clinic Success Partners, and really how to implement AI for medical clinics as effectively as physically possible to basically increase your bottom line, free up time, be more efficient, be more effective, and make everyone's jobs easier in the clinic. So with that being said, if there's any issues at any point with my audio, with the video, if you'd like me to stop and elaborate on anything, please just drop a message into the chat, and I'm here to help at any point. This being said, at the very end, we will open up the floor for some questions and answers, because as I said, my goal here today, transparently, is to provide you guys with as much value as physically possible, so that whether you choose to do this in-house, in your own clinic, to get more patients in the door profitably, or if you'd like help from us, one way or another, you are empowered to make the best decision possible. So that being said, we'll get stuck in. So first of all, why should you listen to me at all? And who's this random Irish guy with the terrible headshot speaking today? So my name is Tomás O'Dwyer. I actually come from a biomedical engineering background originally, so quite tied to the topic that we're discussing today. My own journey started off as a biomedical engineer, turned software engineer, turned digital marketer, and now we run Clinic Success Partners, which is a firm that implements AI and automation, as well as the latest and greatest in digital marketing strategies across a wide range of medical clinics, ranging from Australia to America. So quite broad. And the beauty of this is that we've had the chance to get a lot of lessons, learn from a very broad range of clinics, what works, what doesn't work, what trends to follow, what is outdated, and ultimately, what strategies can you take on board yourselves. I would also mention that I'm also the host of a podcast called the Clinic Success Secrets Podcast, where we interview thought leaders, in the medical space on what is working in order to scale medical clinics of various sorts, from orthopedics to regenerative medicine to aesthetics. Got a few gynecology and urogynecology clinics. It's quite a broad range. And yeah, feel free to check that out on YouTube. But this being said, as I mentioned, any questions at all, please just let me know. And Jean, as mentioned, is going to drop my calendar link. If at any point any of this sounds interesting to you, you can always book in a quick chat about how this actually looks on the back end. So could people just put a quick thumbs up to confirm that the audio is working okay? Just so I know that everything is firing okay. So just So somebody please drop in a message just to confirm. Right. Okay, if anybody wants to drop in a message, there we go. Now we look great. Thanks, Alta. Appreciate it. Emily, good here. All right, I'm feeling the love. I appreciate it. Okay, amazing. All right, let's get stuck in. So, why AI is no longer optional for clinical marketing in 2025? Ultimately, I'm sure if you're a clinic owner, you've probably been in the same boat as just about everyone we talk to on a daily basis. And most clinics, and maybe yours too, you've probably tried something to get more patients in the door profitably and in a way that's trackable. You may have boosted a few Instagram posts, you may have printed some flyers, and maybe you might have even hired somebody to run some Facebook or Google ads, or had someone, run an SEO campaign that threw you a bunch of jargon with impressions, clicks, and ultimately you hadn't got a clue what any of it meant. Please drop a message in the chat if that's happened to you. Maybe that sounds a bit familiar. Because usually what happens is these people might get you leads, but you don't get any bookings. Maybe people clicked, maybe even messaged, and then they ghosted. And that doesn't help you at all, because you've got injectors, or you've got medical professionals that are sitting, waiting to help some patients, and you're paying for their hours, and it's money out of your pocket. You're actually losing money instead of getting money in. I'll be honest, it's not your fault. These tactics weren't built for how patients actually make decisions today. Frankly, since I believe it's 2022, with the advent of ChatGPT and AI as a whole, the game has changed. And most people are still using strategies that worked in 2019. And if your clinic is still relying on those manual follow-ups, you've probably got a notepad, maybe a front desk that's spending a couple of hours a day or a week following up on old patients. You're playing with the stack deck. And because this is a marketplace, if you're not implementing AI the way it should be or can be leveraged, I can guarantee that your competitors are. And it is a marketplace, and the way a lot of medical clinics, particularly aesthetics, for example, it comes on a first come, first serve basis. Whoever gets back to the interested patient or prospect is usually the one who gets the business. So frankly, in 2025, AI is not even an option anymore. It's the only way to keep up and stay ahead, of your competitors in the way patients choose their providers. So I'm going to walk through how AI in 2025 solves real problems. So number one, it actually predicts the patient needs. It doesn't just blast generic campaigns. It learns what everybody wants, be it Botox, body contouring. If you're in the regenerative space, maybe semaglutide, things of that nature. It'll send them personalized offers and messages that actually convert. Secondly, and this is possibly the biggest one we see, and it's something that we're rolling out ourselves, it automates all the tedious follow-up. So if you're here, and make sure to drop this in the chat, if you've had any kind of business mentors or so on. Oh, Jasper's saying don't break the keyboard. I'll make sure not to. The fortunes and the follow-up. What's essential is, if you're going to do any kind of marketing work, it's so essential to make sure you're following up with them right away. Speed to lead is the name of the game. If you're running an ad, be it on Facebook, be it Instagram, be it Google, whatever it is, you need to have a means for people to get notified right away within 60 seconds to get them booked in automatically. At the end of the day, we are in a TikTok generation where people's attention spans are shorter than they ever have been. So the days of running some sort of marketing effort, crossing your fingers and hoping for the best to get back to people on time, it just doesn't work. We need a way to get people's attention, continue the conversation via SMS, or call in a personalized way that makes them feel like they're really talking to a person and answers their questions, qualifies them, nurtures them, and books them in automatically. Thirdly, one of the benefits of this is that we can do this at scale. Frankly, your front desk has a limited amount of time. They can only talk to one person at once. So if we reach out to 1,000 different previous patients at once, or we run a campaign that's particularly effective, usually the constraint is the front desk's actual time. They physically cannot get back to people fast enough. Whereas with AI, we can have 1,000 conversations going on at once, vetting every single potential patient, and then getting them in the door from there. 24/7, in real time, and with infinite leverage, as a nerd like myself would say. Fourthly, this gives you a competitive advantage over the people that are not using it. What this allows you to do is collect more cash up front, establish yourself as the local celebrity in your area, leaving your competitors for dust while they're running some random ads that they created on Canva and hoping for the best. This is the competitive insight, the competitive advantage that frankly, it's the biggest technological advancement for fear of being melodramatic since fire, or definitely since the Industrial Revolution. And we'll run through some of that right now. Fifthly, if that's a real word, it gives us data that we can actually work with. One of the biggest mistakes we see with medical clinics is they will just throw something up and hope for the best. What AI allows us to do is create 10 times as much content, be it videos, via pictures, via email copy, via text message copy, and you analyze the data simultaneously. We could maybe have 100 different variations and then identify the version that works the best. Now, if this is something that feels appropriate for you, that maybe this is something that you've tried, please, as I said, drop a message in the chat box. I'd love to hear, maybe you've ran some ads, maybe you've done something like this, and it just hasn't converted. If this sounds like something that would benefit you, please drop a message. Now, Charles's question: what is the first AI tool you'd recommend for a solo practitioner with limited tech skills? The cheeky answer would be, say, to talk to someone who specializes in it, such as ourselves. But honestly, I suppose if you want to dip your toes in it, ChatGPT, it's a good starting point, but it's not integrated with your entire system. Charles, as I mentioned, if you want to book in a call, we can answer this one-on-one. A lot of these questions will be specific to your specific situation. There are great tools out there. I mean, if you're creating videos, Google has a platform called VO3. It's a new video generation platform that we've been testing. It works quite well. Again, it depends on the type of clinic that you have. For example, we have cosmetic dental clinic clients. We obviously want to make sure that the teeth look pristine. For aesthetics, it can be okay. We have our own software called Patient Flow. It's not available to the public. We use it to consolidate replying to our patients immediately. We bring in data points from Google Ads, Facebook ads, all that kind of stuff. Again, happy to discuss that over a call if anybody wants to book a quick call over the link at the top. Katrina, to your question, I have meta ads, but I get a lot of spam leads. That's the bane of most people's existence. I would assume that that's from Facebook or Instagram. That sounds like one of several factors. One, if they're just low quality leads, one of the biggest issues we tend to see with digital marketing agencies is that their targeting is off. Okay, these are great questions, guys. Please keep these coming. I'm loving it. So yeah, spam leads. Basically, what we make sure to do is with our patient flow software on the back end, when somebody clicks the ad, we can use AI to actually qualify them. This AI technology basically gets fed a database about your clinic, all the FAQs, qualifies them, and then really cuts through the noise, basically. That being said, this also addresses things like no-show rates, which obviously massively affect your profitability. Um, and then to your question, Avneet, how do you ensure personalization doesn't feel invasive? That's really where the nuance comes in. There's a lot of nuance for it. We train our AI bot to make sure that it strikes that right balance of professionalism versus friendliness. Um, Basically, when we're trying to get people or when we're booking in patients, uh, again, happy to discuss this over a call. So the link is there. Uh, Basically, growing a business, and if I get you techie, just let me know. It can be boiled down to one of four areas: traffic, conversion, price, or churn or retention, basically. So what we want to do really is find that fine balance of traffic to your offer, or to your clinic, or to your website. And then we want to optimize that traffic for conversion. So this is where a lot of people mess up. They'll run SEO, but they don't have an idea how many bookings they get. They may run Google ads or Facebook ads. They're getting a lot of traffic, but they're not optimizing for conversions. So with AI, what we can do is we can increase the conversion rate by replying to people immediately, making them feel like they're talking to your front desk, but much like your front desk, the devil's in the details. So we can strike that balance of filtering out people. Sorry, we can strike that balance of filtering out people we don't want. Okay, so Asad, how can our company adapt its digital marketing strategy to ensure we're visible by AI-driven search engines when customers look for our services? I'm going to get to SEO shortly, but again, feel free to keep dropping these questions in, and later on at the end, I'll open up the floor for more questions. Okay, so basically how AI transforms clinic growth in 2025. As I said, personalized outreach at scale is the big one. We can also then leverage it to get feedback from our patients on how we can improve their experience. We often tend to use this for our clients, number one, to get more reviews on Google at scale. As an old business mentor of mine said, nobody ever went on Amazon and bought the pair of shoes with the least amount of reviews. So getting more social proof, I suppose, with reviews on Google is an incredibly effective offline way of showing that people trust and like our service. So AI can be amazing for this. When people book their appointment in, we can follow up with them, get them to leave more reviews on Google, and then actually incentivize them to come back in after that with some sort of offer. Again, you just physically wouldn't have enough hours in the day if this was done manually. So by doing it with AI, we can have multiple or thousands of SMS messages or emails running in parallel, giving that quick boost in revenue, and also getting invaluable feedback and also boosting your authority on Google. In addition to this, we can leverage data on this. What we can do is we can see what messages work well, what patient avatar wants a certain treatment, and how to tailor our marketing based on that, as opposed to metaphorically throwing something at the wall and hoping something sticks. Okay, I'm seeing a few more questions. Olivia, I also feel I hire these agents, they only say learning curve, no results. We're Botox Spa and would think we could use Google better. Okay, sorry. There's a few questions from Andrea Stark and Olivia Housen. I'm loving the questions. For a bit of feedback on that topic, guys, if you'd like me to answer these questions as I'm going through it, or if you'd like me to save it for the end, just let me know. I'm open to feedback, much like I'm sure you guys are. Bear SEO. Okay, amazing question, Brian. I'm going to come to SEO in a bit. Okay, great questions. Can I ask for what advice you give on scaling outreach by hiring more coordinators? Honestly, Andrea, it's basically you've got two options, Andrea. You can either try and do it yourself, kind of Guesswork works. There's different platforms, or you could work with a firm that specializes in outreach for a specific niche. Okay, cool. Michelle said she's happy for me to go answer as I go. Any questions about SEO specifically, I will come to in a bit because there's a slide on that. And Olivia, to your question, I also feel I hire these agents and they only say learning curve, no results. We are a Botox spa. And we think we could use Google better. Olivia, would you mind reframing that question slightly so it's a bit more clear to me? I will say for Botox spas specifically, for our clients personally, if you're doing below maybe 2 million a year, we tend to find that Facebook and Instagram ads are the most effective when curated correctly. We have our own, what we call the predictable patient engine system, where we basically get people in the door, pay for our own bill by reactivating your existing patient base. And then we combine social media ads to get the quantity in. And we use AI then to make sure the quality is there. But Olivia, if you want to reframe that question, I'm happy to answer that if that doesn't answer your specific question. And as I said, any SEO questions, Sabina and Brian, I will definitely get to that quite shortly. Okay, now this is for the people running ads on any sort of social media platform, but it also applies to SEO as well. I would say my own background, there's no bias here. For the longest time, I was actually an SEO professional myself, working with everything from e-commerce businesses to software businesses to you name a business type, I probably did SEO for them from all countries. The principles within SEO have stayed the same fundamentally. What we're really trying to do is optimize either Google or an AI engine so that it understands that we are the best fit for people, right? Explaining it in layman's terms. We're tending to find that the recent trends are even 3-4 years ago on the SEO front, and this is sort of to touch on Brian's question about SEO. It used to be a case of just spam your website with as much content as physically possible, with keywords in certain areas. The downside to this, and this is specifically for local businesses, is number one, more content doesn't mean better. Google knows we're just saturating the marketplace that is search engines or ChatGPT with content that's realistically created by ChatGPT. So just to touch on the SEO front, what we do instead and what Google and ChatGPT, Perplexity, all these different engines are looking at are signals on the website or for your business that are hard to fake, basically. So Google reviews, incredibly valuable. Now, there's a backdoor way that we can get more reviews on Google, which is by leveraging SMS and automation. Basically, what Google and ChatGPT want to do is they want to look at things called off-page ranking factors. And these could be links from other websites or reviews on Google. Think of it like a referral from a friend. If I'm to say, for example, I'm the world's best barber, although you wouldn't believe that because I haven't had a haircut recently, my word may mean nothing. But if there's a sea of other people that have said, hey, Tomas gives amazing haircuts, it would obviously carry more weight. And those sort of ranking factors in 2025 are not changing because all these search engines fundamentally need to pull their data from somewhere. So SEO, and it's a bit of a tangent, it's evolving really to look at the entire presence on the internet and how does it refer to your specific clinic. So parking that for a second, to the point here about creating 10x marketing content 10x faster. You may think, Tomas, this is completely conflicting with the point that you just said. I thought you said we don't want to create 100 different blog posts a month if it's just saturating the market. Where this is incredibly valuable is on the paid advertising front. So Facebook ads, Instagram ads, even Google ads, TikTok, whatever it is. Data should always drive decisions. And where 90% of clinics that we see fail is that they will put up one or two posts or one or two ads, and then they'll question, apart from the fact that it's not being followed up, why is this not working? What we can do here is this allows us to create 10 times as many different types of ads. And then the way ads kind of work is we basically will upload, say, 10 ads. I'll pick the one or two that are performing the best and then sort of tune those. It's like tuning a guitar or something like that. So this allows us to create 10 times more ads, 10 times faster. We're not waiting on front desks or clinics to come back, try and arrange team photos, things like that. It allows us to iterate much faster. And I'd also mention here, keep in mind, if you are not doing this, your competitors are. If John Smith's clinic down the road has 100 different ads that they're testing, if you just imagine this scenario, people click on the ad, they get a text message immediately. The prospect texts the person back. Within 60 seconds, they feel like it could be 6 p.m. in the evening, while your front desk are not working. They're seeing this optimized ad, they get a text message, and they're booked in for the next day. So this is really where the delta, the difference between where you are right now and your competitors sort of gets multiplied as time goes on. I will also mention on this topic, what AI can allow us to do is reverse engineer success. As the saying goes, success leaves footprints. So what we can do is we can see what is performing exceptionally well, be it in your local market, or if it's in a small area internationally, and reverse engineer what is going well. Obviously, there's very real cost savings with this on your end as well, as opposed to your own staff spending ages trying to pretend that they're professional photographers. We can save massively on hidden costs like that. Okay, Olivia Housen, your question. I use a company called JD, or they run Insta ads and Google ads, but it's been 7 months. And they keep saying the ads are in learning phase. I believe, yes, you should get some ROI. If you're not getting some sort of ROI, Olivia, within the first 90 days, they're leading you on, is the short version. To get any kind of customer, patient, whatever it is, like no matter what type of business it is, whether it's a plumbing business, whether it's a clinic, whether it's a marketing agency, whether it's, I don't know, whether it's Amazon, whatever it is. There's only 4 ways anyone can get any kind of patient or customer, and that's through cold outreach, i.e. to people you don't know. That's why we're all on this webinar. It's what I did personally. Warm outreach, reaching out to people you don't know, you do know. Organic content or paid advertising. Now, SEO would fall into the organic content standpoint. Now, the downside to this is that, I mean, the benefit of organic content is it's over a longer time horizon, it can be cheaper than paid ads. But the downside is that SEO specifically, ranking organically, that is an instance where it does take 6 to 12 months. But Olivia, as I said, to your point, again, we can have a chat. Feel free to book a call with me and I can run through and do a free audit of what they're doing. I would also mention for anyone that has signed up for this webinar, myself and my agency are happy to do free audits of your current setup and create a roadmap for how it could be improved to see where the holes are that we can plug. But yes, Olivia, the first month for ads, especially on Facebook and Instagram, it's definitely testing. Months 2 and 3, I will say sometimes it does take a bit of time to get things dialed in, but 7 months is way too long. If people are tying you in for something that long, I would question what their intentions are. Lee McKinley, great name. What's your approach to retargeting patients who clicked but didn't book? Amazing question. So the big thing is if you're running any kind of advertising, you should have a robust CRM on the back end. So the second somebody fills out a form, I'll rewind there. Generally, when we run ads, we're running ads to either a landing page. Disclaimer, I probably wouldn't recommend it if it's on Facebook or Instagram. If it's on Google, fair enough. Or you can run it to a form. What we tend to do is we run ads to a form that's native on Facebook and Instagram, and the second with a bit of a few qualifying questions, and the second that gets submitted, they should be in your CRM to be retargeted again as much as you want. What I would recommend on that front, Lee, is a number one, text message. To be honest, AI should be automatically following up with all these people. 1 day, 2 day, 3 days. There is a specific cadence that we use at Clinic Success Partners, mainly because we don't want to spam people. But really what should be happening is when they click on the ad, the status should be updated on your CRM to say that they did not book. And you should have automation or AI automatically following up with them via text message and email. As part of your ad strategy as well, it should be that you should have retargeting ads on. So basically, you're staying top of mind. That's basically it. Some people just may not be ready to sign up or attend go to your clinic right away, but they may be ready down the road. And again, Lee, I'm happy to have a chat with this separately. My COO, Jess, specializes in exactly this. What I would also mention, Lee, as an extra knowledge bomb that I would recommend is to do basically text message blasts with some sort of incentivized offer that will convert to get people in the door. What I will actually say, Lee, and this is an interesting example, we ran a campaign just like this for an orthopedics clinic last month. We leveraged what's called a ringless voicemail. And what that basically does for the leads is it gives the impression that you just tried to call them. And you basically say, hey, patient, I've just tried to call you, couldn't get through to you. I know you clicked on an ad recently. We actually have this new offer, XYZ. Please give me a text back via my number and we'll see if we can get you booked in. And the reply rate to that is absolutely insane. The specific clinic that we ran this for last month, he actually started calling me because he was a bit worried that we'd broken something because his phone was going off the hook. Then, needless to say, the tone changed once he realized that it was all people interested in appointments. So, hope that answers. Lee, if you have any follow-up questions, please drop me a follow-up message. Amazing question. Same time though, if that helps, please let me know. Sabna, your question. We offer the most affordable services, but we don't appear to ChatGPT when people search for affordable services. What can be done to improve our visibility? Short version, more reviews on Google. If you're a local business, opposed to international, that'd be a big one. Platforms like Yelp, things like that help. Sabna, I would need to see your website to be able to give you some specific advice. And again, like I said, if anybody wants a free marketing and AI implementation audit, please book a call via the link, which is book.clinicsuccesspartners.com/schedule-call. Now, again, a lot of this will be repeating myself, but there's a reason to this because it is just so important. There are some massive stats that go out there and that basically say if you don't follow up with a lead within 10 minutes, the likelihood of them replying drops by something like 98%. And if you think about that, I'm going to give the metaphor of a water bottle here. If your lead flow is like water that you're trying to add to this bottle, optimizing for the conversion rate is like patching up holes in the bottle itself. So there's two ways, and I've got podcasts on this, that you can double your return on ad spend or your return on your marketing investment. Number one, you can spend twice as much money on ads, or two, you can just double the percentage of qualified leads that actually turn into booked appointments. And this is why it's so essential. And Lee, this does answer your question as well. Is lead feeder similar to Zapier? Michelle, I'll answer you in a second. Um, sorry, forgive me. Yeah, basically what we can do is ultimately, if we're driving leads, say it's several hundred a month, and say a certain percentage, say 15 to 20% of those are qualified, that would be, 40 booked appointments in a month. That number may vary if we're not following up. We've seen instances where clinics didn't actually automate this at scale, or they had the front desk wasting all the staff hours basically trying to manually call up. This is where it's so important. That blend of email, text message, and those ringless voicemail drops, which are incredibly powerful because it looks like you've actually tried to call them, um, are incredibly, incredibly, incredibly valuable. A big thing that this also helps with is the no-show rate. If your clinic has struggled with no-show rates in the past, please make sure to drop a message in the chat. Yeah, please definitely drop a message if you've struggled with no-show rates, because this will help you. Doing automated voicemail drops, getting people excited, maybe sending a video of one of your treatments to make them feel genuinely excited to show up. It makes a massive difference to your bottom line. Because as you know yourself, there's nothing worse. You think you have an appointment, the person doesn't show up. All of a sudden, you have an injector or a provider that's just wasting their time, and that also doesn't help with the team morale. There you go, Katrina O'Sullivan, good Irish sounding name. Yeah, no show rates. We see it all the time. Katrina and Sandra Smith, definitely please make sure to drop in what type of clinic you run. This is something we see all the time. Quick one on that, I would say Katrina and Sandra, or anyone struggling with no-show rates, definitely make sure to look at where your leads are coming from. If it's too far away, that could be a factor. Is there a solid follow-up? Are they feeling excited? Are they being sent content via email to get them excited? Another big one is when they fill out the form to help with no-show rates. You'll see this yourselves when you book your free strategy call with me and free audit, is when someone fills out a form, they should ideally get redirected to another page that is a warm welcome from the provider, saying how excited you are to have them in the door, giving them an overview of your treatment, adding some sort of social proof, previous before and afters, maybe some video testimonials from previous patients, just really getting the patient legitimately excited. That combined with a follow-up system and a reminder system is really powerful. These are absolutely amazing questions, by the way, guys, so please keep them coming. Hina Naz, your question: how should small businesses prioritize between SEO, social media, and paid ads for faster growth? Again, this is coming from an SEO guy, and I'd love to be biased towards it. If you're doing under 7 figures a year for your clinic, I would lead with paid ads combined with SMS and automation. The reason being is you can get the results faster because you obviously, as a clinic owner, need to manage your cash flow. What I tend to find is a lot of people that start off with investing in SEO, and then they may get a situation much like Olivia Housen, where they're 6 months down the line, they've invested maybe 2K, 3K a month into SEO, they haven't gotten ROI, and it's putting strain. The metaphor I often give is paid ads, paid advertising, especially on social media. It's like kindling for a fire. It's a great granular way of us getting people in for treatment for a specific provider quickly. SEO more so it's like a big log. Imagine if you're building a campfire. It does take some time to build up, but when it does, it's giving you that sort of passive, quote unquote, extra layer of leads and booked appointments. But amazing questions, guys. Katrina, Sandra, Andrea, anyone, if you have any questions, I can give you some granular advice for your specific clinic. If you want to book a call above, it's usually a quick 15-minute call, see if we're a good fit, but you'll walk away with value and insights one way or another. Also, guys, 40 people at the webinar so far, so I'm absolutely loving this. I'm really enjoying this. I love helping clinics like this. I said it's kind of my passion, so feel free to drop in any questions you can. And on my end, I'm going to keep going on this. I'm under no time pressure, but if you do want one-on-one time with me, you can book a call, as I mentioned. So again, as I've said, AI powers more appointments and client retention. As I said, 24/7. A lot of people, they're working 9 to 5. Ideally, and hopefully your front desk are the same, they're not on their phone. We often find we can get the cheapest patients outside of business hours, as you can imagine. It may be someone cooking their dinner and they're mindlessly scrolling on social media. They get hit with an ad for Botox or some sort of filler, be Juvederm, etc. And they might quickly make an impulse decision to find out more. Now, if your front desk are signed off for the day and they're not going to get back to the next day, you just lost literal money that affects your bottom line. It's 24/7. As I said, higher booking rates, better retention, because we can really augment the customer or patient experience with the front desk. And at the end of the day, as a few people have said, you don't need the extra staff. Again, I'll say you can try and implement all of this yourself, but there is nuances. Transparently on our end, this is why we always recommend, and I've got podcasts on this that I'll send to people after the webinar. This is why you always want to work with specialists for your niche, because if someone's working with a generalist agency, which Olivia, maybe perhaps you have, they're kind of guessing every single time, they're reinventing the wheel. Whereas if you work with an agency or firm that specializes in your type of business, you're actually working at an advantage, because you're working with the entire data set that they've acquired, that you're working with the best of the best. We've had clinics in Georgia, for example. We ran one of these reactivation campaigns, and I think we made them, it was $41,000 in the first 2 weeks of working together, paid for their entire marketing budget. All of a sudden, they'd acquired this new strategy. Then we had a clinic in Sydney, zero conflict of interest, and we were implementing something very, very similar without them having to guess for the first time. So it's incredibly powerful, and it does build this beautiful flywheel effect. And to the questions on what AI tools would I use to drive clinic growth? I would shamelessly say our own software, Patient Flow. That's a one-stop shop. Come back here. One-stop shop for all things marketing. Consolidates everything, books people in with the AI. And but that being said, if you're getting started, you really don't know where to start. ChatGPT, it's obviously free, but the issue is that it's not integrated to your CRM or your practice management software. Let's go check for more questions. Okay, so Sandra, I see you booked a call. Looking forward to chatting. Anybody else? Like I said, please keep in mind, I'm currently speaking to 40 different people, so my advice may be a bit generic. If you want to see how this works for your specific clinic, feel free to book in your spot. Now, Geraldine Blank, your question: how do you prevent data overload for clinics with small teams? Geraldine, this specifically it's a bit of a pet peeve of mine with digital marketing agencies as a whole. I will avoid swearing because this is being recorded, but I would say a lot of marketing agencies, they're full of, let's say, bull poo. They try and hide behind buzzwords. What you need, if you have a small team or large team, because frankly, you are focused on doing what you do best, which is serving patients. What you should ideally have when you're trying to grow your clinic is a transparent, clear dashboard that shows where your leads are coming from, who has been contacted, who has not been contacted, what type of appointments have been booked in, what's working, what's not, and what is the monetary value of that. Anything beyond that, it's a nice to have, because then you run the risk of trying to reinvent, train your front desk who probably aren't that tech savvy. Apologies if you're a front desk and you're watching this. It's not your specialty. You're trying to get people to be specialists in things that they're not. So again, this is why we created Patient Flow. You need a software. That's as simple to use as text messaging, and actually shows you the metrics that you need. So to your point, Geraldine, to your question, please make sure for anyone here, whether you're working with us, whether you're doing this in-house, or whether there's another agency or firm that's doing things, please have a conversation with them at the very start. What KPIs, what key performance indicators are we actually tracking? That is the most important thing, Geraldine. And again, loving these questions, please keep them coming in. A lot of marketing agencies, they're hiding behind buzzwords like impressions, clicks, rankings, backlinks, all that kind of stuff. You run a clinic, you don't care about that. Rosemary Shannon, try to book the UT, but the verify phone number code doesn't come through, one-time password. Rosemary, I'm going to drop my email address here. Definitely try and book a call in, but Rosemary, if you're having any issues with it, just say the word and I'll book something. Myself or someone in my team will book it in manually. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how we can help your clinic specifically. No worries, Rosemary. But yeah, as I said, whether you're working with us, whether you're working with someone else, have that conversation at the very start. What are we tracking here? Because no one here cares about impressions. No one here cares about clicks. You care about booked appointments that show up. So anything beyond that, if that is not being tracked, that's the conversation to have. And I will say that this is a two-way street. Geraldine, I would make sure that on your team, you're also cooperating, I'm sure you are, with the agency provider themselves, to make sure, that you're providing them with the information that they need. I'm sure you're doing that. But what I will say is, I always say everything boils down to the quality of your relationships, both with yourself and others. And relationships are a two-way street. We need to make sure we're cooperating. Otherwise it's like hiring a personal trainer and not going to the gym. That being said, I'm sure you are, but please make sure that the marketing agency or whoever you're working with are actually communicating, because it all starts with that. Now, to all the people asking about SEO, and this is I've got videos ranging on YouTube 3 or 4 years ago. Not to say I told you so to a lot of people, but I've been kind of calling this for 3 or 4 years. Basically, SEO boils down to one of 3 pillars. And if I'm overwhelming people with information, again, please let me know, or we can chat about it separately. But that's basically the code on the website, the content on the website, and links from other websites or reviews that show trust. Number 1, the fundamentals haven't changed. You need to make sure your content has keywords. This being said, the content should be structured in a way that AI can easily understand. Secondly, and I will send a podcast with Jess and I running through this, you must make sure that your website has a dedicated landing page for every single service or treatment that you want to show up for. Secondly, reviews, be it Yelp, be it Trustpilot, be it Google, you need to have an automated way of maximizing that. Little random bit of advice. There's a tool called Zappy Cards that we send out to our clients when you start working together. It's kind of it's one of those machines that debit card machines use. The patients just tap their phone on it, and the link for leaving reviews comes up. We send this to our clients anyways, but Those are handy, but you want to make sure it's automated as well. Number one, number two, or four, whatever. A big thing, and I would say I could nearly put money that all 40 attendees here are probably not doing this, is you need to be tracking how users behave when they're actually on your website. This does circle back to my earlier point. There's two ways you can double your return on your marketing: double the traffic or double the conversion rate. I don't think I've ever seen a medical clinic that uses the software that we use to see what do people do when they're actually on the website. I've got YouTube videos and webinars on this, but are people scrolling up? Are they scrolling down? Are they even clicking on the buttons, or are they even clicking on the form? Because if we have 100 visitors on a website and 1% of those people, one person books an appointment, if we want to get a second appointment, there's two things we can do. We can double the traffic, or we can just tweak the website so that 1% conversion rate doubles to 2%. I will also say, it's important to mention ads are actually a part of SEO. The reason being is we want to show to Google that people are actually looking up the name of your clinic. And the best way of us fast tracking that awareness is by running some paid ads to it. Charles, your question: how would you use AI to reverse engineer competitor campaigns? There's a term called funnel hacking that we tend to use. We basically, what we can do is there's certain image generation or video generation AI software that we can use to draw inspiration, we'll say. Facebook has a free resource, Facebook Ads Library. You can pull in competitors, see what they're doing, and then filter about, out what has been running for quite a while. We then use AI to help craft and curate different variations of the copy. This being said, it is important to always running any sort of ads that you're really doing it yourselves or working with someone that actually understands your unique selling points. Because otherwise, if you're competing against your local competitors, people won't be able to differentiate and it becomes a commoditized service. So Facebook Ads Library, we can use AI, we have our own software in the back end that analyzes the pain points. Another thing that you can do is if you've been collecting patient feedback, you can actually find out what pain points they tend to have and craft your copy around that. Again, Charles, if you have any questions, we can actually run through your specific clinic on a separate call. I'm going to try and go a bit faster with this. I want to make sure I'm not going too fast or too slow. Please give me feedback if you'd like me to speed up. But what I will say, and I've touched on this before, conversion rate optimization is, along with follow-ups and so on, is perhaps one of the biggest mistakes that we see with clinics. A lot of clinics, number one, they're not tracking our phone calls coming from Google Ads or SEO, or else they have a form on their website, and there is a staggering statistic that I believe 95% of forms on websites don't get replied to. So you need to have a way of leveraging AI so that when somebody fills out a form or a chat widget that's been fed on your specific clinic's specific details, that the prospect gets a text message instantly confirming that you've been talking to them, and the conversation gets continued off the website. Because if we put ourselves in the mind of the patient, for example, if they're looking for Botox in their specific area and you've done your SEO, you're up number 1 in Google Maps and you're number 1 or 2 in the organic listings. What will happen is they will check out your website, they may fill out the chat widget or the form. If you don't reply, they'll go on to the competitor. But I'd like you to imagine an alternative scenario where you reply instantly. And then that's what gets you the business. And that is how you amplify your effectiveness drastically. Um, so, uh, Emilio Alba, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. What's your take on how to prevent overlap when running multiple segmented campaigns? First of all, Emilio, could you clarify if this is ads or is this email? Again, there's going to be nuance. We can chat about this separately outside of the webinar. Um, it depends what the goal, and also depends what type of clinic you have. For example, if we're running an SMS campaign, not an issue. We'll just segment the patient list separately. Um, what I will actually mention though is it's incredibly email. Okay, that's fine. I mean, if there's no overlap, it just boils down to making sure that your list is clean. What I will say, Emilio, it's worth being aware. The open rate for email is often around 20%. With SMS, it's actually at 98%. And we have had clinics where we've run database reactivation campaigns with existing patient bases, where we've had as high as 1 in 3 people we've contacted book an appointment. There was a one instance, another clinic in Georgia, where we did a text message campaign with a list of only 570 people. We were able to generate $31,000 in booked appointments after the offer had been applied. So the big thing is to do it in segments, not to try and contact everybody at once. But again, for your specific case, Emily, happy to talk about that separately. But yeah, main thing is segment your list. Obviously, you want to make sure that you know what different people have come for in the past. Please drop a thumbs up in the chat if you're getting value out of this. And yeah, I'd love to hear some feedback. I know it's a lot of information, but I just want to make sure that I'm providing value for everyone here. While you're hopefully putting some sort of thumbs up, I will continue with how this actually looks in practice. Okay, so let's say you're running your traditional marketing campaign. You're doing SEO, maybe Google Ads, maybe even email, or Facebook and Instagram ads. But nothing's really tracked. You don't really know what campaigns are working, be it email, be it SMS. You don't know which you're getting, which 20% of activities are generating 80% of your results. What should you double down on, and how can you fine tune it? The first things first is that we'll use AI to automate the patient follow-ups, personalize and answering their questions as if it's a real person. 2, the thing is to look at your CRM, if you're using one, hopefully you are, specifically for marketing, not for anything else. This is a CRM for people that have not signed up with you right yet, booked an appointment for you yet. 3, your front desk will then manage the CRM, but knowing that they have this AI assistant that is doing 80% of the heavy lifting. So the big thing is to have a system like our predictable patient engine that builds on top of your existing system, not instead. Then beyond that, we have a way of automatically following up with them a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later. And then by structuring things in a certain way, you can actually have your initial batch of automation pay for your entire marketing budget for several months after, like we have had with a lot of our clinics. And the best thing is you don't need to hire a load of new people. You just work with one point of contact and you use AI to have the productivity of 8 to 10 team members. Avni, I love the fact you're saying getting a lot of insight here. Again, I'm aware that this is quite generic, but if there's any, if anyone wants any advice one-on-one, you can always book a chat. I'm going to start going a bit faster through this, but basically higher show rates, you combat drop-offs, the ROI compounds. The big thing as well is we can also leverage AI to make sure our offer really is specific to your target patient audience, your specific demographic, and your specific region. The big thing as well is, as I said, if it's not you, it's going to be someone else. Most people are replying to leads days later. Realistically, if you can be replying within minutes, you will be the premium go-to authority in your space. No questions asked. And much like how you probably want to deal with your patients, we can do so with surgical precision. It's getting to a point where it's either you or your competitors. It will be the first to adopt these new strategies, these new systems that will pull ahead of all the competitors and leave everyone else for dust. And as I said, if it's not you, it will be the local clinic down the road. And that's why I want to make sure I'm providing value here so that you guys, whether you want to do it in-house or talk to a professional that specializes in this, you know what's coming. Because as I said, clinics working with bulky, bloated marketing teams, or an intern that just finished college, or maybe the niece who's just studied digital marketing in college. Um, Unfortunately, that just doesn't work, because speed to lead is the name of the game, data, and being able to test things at a much bigger scale. So you need to be able to move with precision and quickly, while everybody else is kept guessing and wondering, what the secret was to your clinic success, which is why we named our business what we did. So if you're here, hopefully you've got a notepad. Maybe you can jot down some notes. Please, take a moment, be it open up the notes app on your laptop or computer, open up a physical notepad, and start looking at, how would you rate yourself in this area? How fast are you following up your leads? I like for people here to, and there's no shame here, take note. Okay, speed to lead with follow up. How would I rate myself on a scale of 1 to 5 here? Do people feel like we are the first to the punch? Two, our website. How are we converting it? Are we tracking what people are doing when they actually arrive on the website? Three, if we are doing follow-ups, are they personalized? This makes all the difference. Four, how is the tracking? There's a question asked earlier on, how do you deal with an overwhelm of information if you've got a small team? How good is your reporting? Do you know this campaign, this campaign, this campaign is generating 80%, whatever, 15% and 5% of our new booked appointments? You need to know at a bird's eye view what is making you revenue. So please rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 on that front. And then lastly, I suppose fifth, how would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 with actual ongoing strategy? How are you looking at what worked last month, what's working this month, and what are we going to do moving forward? I would also add on top of this, what are you doing to rate yourself to, nurture people on an ongoing basis? Email follow-ups, SMS follow-ups. Are you running events? That can be a sixth one on a scale of 1 to 5. And if you are struggling with any of these, we can definitely help. So if anybody would like to share how they'd rate themselves, please make sure to drop it in the chat. Otherwise, take note, book call, and we can walk through how to get you on a 5 on all the above. So as I said, please audit. If you're watching this webinar, you've got a notepad, or if you're at your laptop, maybe even take a screenshot of it right now. Are you getting the right patients, or are they spam, as was asked recently? Are they showing up? Is your follow-up system working? Like, do you know when your patients are most likely to book? What time of day should you be running your ads? Are the offers created, personalized, or are they just Canva ads? Is your team doing work AI could automate? And I see this every single day with clinics. Sixthly, can you measure what's actually driving ROI? Or are you, I think it was Olivia that said it, 7 months down the line, investing with a PPC company, and there's no return, and you're being told that we just need more time? Do you know what competitors are doing, and do your system support the rest of 2025 and 2026 and beyond? So solid touche. Screenshot taken, great webinar. I want to check when I get a link to your video, share with your team. Certainly, Sandra. Yeah, definitely, like, have a look at this holistically, and Three, two, Vicky. Yeah, we see this all the time. Again, if you're anything less than full marks, make sure to book a call with me, and we can actually look at where your biggest opportunities are specifically to. So yeah, we see this all the time. Because it's not just marketing; it's also the sales team. It's also the entire acquisition process. And there is a saying, what gets measured gets managed, and you need to actually know not only what leads we're booking in, but what do the numbers actually look like? Am I just throwing money to ad spend? Um, Another one I will also mention, and maybe people are doing this. We very often see clinics running Google ads. This is a random insight. They're running Google ads and they're getting calls, but they can't actually differentiate which calls are coming from Google ads and which are coming from SEO. Very often they might be getting 50 calls a month, and they might be spending 4 or 5K on ad spend, and they think they're getting 50 calls for $4,000, or pounds, or whatever it is. But when you actually analyze it, 40 out of those 50 calls may be coming from SEO. So that's a random one to keep note of. If you're doing Google ads, can you differentiate between these? But again, there's no one size fits all, and this is sort of what we specialize in. To the questions about AI tools that are most effective. Number one, you need some sort of AI tool that will monitor how to get leads, how to optimize your website for conversion. Secondly, you need some sort of tool that is integrated with AI that automates the follow up, automates reminders, reduces no-shows, reactivations, follows up with old leads that we've spent on Facebook and Instagram ads that didn't show up, and personalizing it. I would also say, we've gone through this before. You don't need to scale the ad spend. The team, you're going to save money. It's going to be more personalized, and ultimately, you get full scale results without full scale staff. That's the reason we're doing this. We want to make sure that, we want to make sure that you can actually grow profitably while keeping your overheads as low as you need to, with a money model that will actually allow you to collect cash upfront and fund your own growth. And I would also mention, for anyone listening here at this point, I will say we are right now offering a test drive of our predictable patient engine, at cost rate. We've never done this before, but our goal is to empower more clinics to basically achieve the success that they deserve. And spots are numbered, so definitely make sure to book a call in if you feel like this could be a good fit for you. But what our goal is, we want to pay for our own bill before we've even really started. And the way we do that is we actually set up our own predictable patient engine structure for you, at cost. We do have a guarantee. If you're a good fit and you qualify, and we run your campaign, if we don't make back the money we charge, there's a full refund, no questions asked. And with this test drive, we have made some clinics as much as $42,000 in the first 2 or 3 weeks, and they got to see, do you know what, Tomas and the team, they know what they're doing. I trust them. They know their stuff, and they're good communicators, and they've unlocked this new way of getting patients. So it's pure profit from there. So our goal is to basically supplement or cover your entire marketing budget within this test drive. And I will say, with that worst case scenario, if you book a call, we will, and you're a good fit, we will run this entire roadmap and optimization audit for your front desk, for your sales, for your marketing, and we will also set up our test drive for you. If you don't make back the money, you get the refund, you keep the audit, and you know exactly how to optimize your system. Best case scenario, you make multiple 5 figures at the start, and you've just paid for your entire ad spend. So I will say that if that sounds like something you're interested in, I will note for example, there's 40 people on this call. Spots are limited, and we only do take on 4 new patients or 4 new clients a month. So that's not some false scarcity thing. You can see the numbers are here. Please make sure to book your spot in to see if you're a good fit. And yeah, as I said, so in a nutshell, right now, what you're probably doing is a bunch of broken marketing, and I will open up the floor in a second. Um, SEO, the way it used to be, Google Ads with agencies that are still in the learning phase, 7 months in, ads that don't have follow-ups, or websites that aren't tracking how people are behaving. If you're still stuck in this and your competitors aren't, they will leave you for dust. And that is the honest truth of it. So you don't need more staff, you don't need more stress, and you don't need more trial and error. You need one system that centralizes everything, automates the follow-up, personalizes every client interaction or patient interaction to keep your calendar full and allow you to grow profitably. I have some testimonials here, but what I will say on top of this as well, I want everyone here to just zoom out for a second. Like, if you've made it this far, there's 38 people here still attending, watching this. I'm seeing people popping in. If you've made it this far, it probably means it's resonated for you. And not just because of all the features and strategies we've shown you, it's because you've probably felt the pain. And maybe you've been stuck in that cycle yourself. You've probably posted on Instagram, you've been boosting a few ads, you're getting leads that may be spam, they don't show up, and you're chasing people in the DMs, answering phones between treatments, trying to hold everything together with duct tape and a bit of hustle. And at the end of the month, you're still not where you thought you'd be. And most of our clients have been there. And we've worked with dozens of clinics that were in that exact place. But at the end of the day, they didn't actually need more ads. They didn't need another marketing agency that sends spreadsheets, overwhelms their front desk, and hopes for the best. They didn't need another full-time hire eating into margins. And what they needed was a system that basically converts every lead automatically, no more ghosted DMs or misforms, automated instant follow-ups, a way of reactivating patients, and really turns your back end into a growth system. Because basically what happens is most people realize that they were never actually bad at marketing. They were just trying to do it manually. So if you want to build this yourself, you absolutely can. It will take time. You will make mistakes, and that's just part of it. But if you're the type of clinic owner that sees the value in a proven infrastructure with no risk, and would rather skip the learning curve and plug it into something that's already been stress tested across dozens of clinics, as I said, we can definitely show you on what that actually looks like. We start with what we call the predictable patient test drive. And basically in the next few weeks, if you qualify, we'll use your existing patient database to generate booked consults, revenue, I said, with our own guarantee. And you'll see the system before we even talk about scaling. We don't do any massive contracts. We don't do fluff. We want to show that we're legit. And if you want to book a call, amazing. As I said, the link is, I'm going to drop the link in again. If not, no hard feelings. But this being said, if that, but yeah, basically, if you want to book the call, feel free to. But if we do feel like you're a good fit, I may end up calling your clinic with the number we have on file later. And as I said, our number is, I'm always forgetting our own number. Just so you know, it's a US number. It's 888-573-2135. And to answer your question, Michelle Platcher, do you need to be tech savvy for the system? Absolutely not. If you can send a text message, you can use our software. We know our audience. We know who we're working with. Most front desks, with all due respect, aren't tech savvy. And that's why we've made this as simple as possible. Our COO, Jess, who's usually our manages a lot of our accounts, we call her sort of the offer queen. She knows what people want. She's amazing with dealing with our clients. And we also work with your front desk to make sure that everything is fully trained up It's self-sufficient. We do a lot of the heavy lifting, but it's also incredibly important for us that our own clients are empowered to do it themselves. So absolutely not. You do not need to be tech savvy. If anything, we'll make sure to dumb it down as much as possible. Will my patients feel like they're talking to a robot, Katrina? No. No, I will say for our follow-ups, we don't need to use AI. That I will put that disclaimer out there. We can use AI to book people in, especially with the database or activation, but no. I will say it is AI, so it's around 80% accurate, but that's why it's so important for us to have your front desk trained up as well. So in the event that there's an issue or a question that the bot can't answer, um, uh, you can step in. But no, it feels very personal. This is also why we use text messages as opposed to calls, because if someone's on a call, it'll take a bit of a lag. But we do is we feed the bot, the AI, all of the information about your clinic, about your treatments, every single FAQ permutation that you can think of. We will ask for that information directly from you. We'll then stress test that, and also your front desk will be using our patient flow software to answer any questions. And as I said, I can run through it on a call, but honestly, if they can answer WhatsApp or text messages, we can, um, yeah, they can use it. Do you have case studies or success stories of using the system? Yes, we do indeed. I can send some over if you want to book in a call. But within the first few months, first few weeks, as I said, last month there was a new clinic there in Australia. I think it was a fat freezing clinic. In the first 4 weeks, we got them 50, that's 50 booked appointments. And that was a combination of ads and SMS. We had 2 clinics in Georgia. We ran our database for activation. One made 30, I don't know, 31,000, 30, between 30 and $32,000 with a list of only 570. Another clinic made over $40,000 with a list of 1,500 patients. And needless to say, the ROI was absolutely huge. Also, if you'd like to find out a bit more about me, what we do, as I said, I do host the Clinic Success Secrets podcast on YouTube. I believe we have about 48 episodes on Spotify. Shay, so again, this is a point where I'm opening the floor for questions. Feel free to drop them all in. Shay, what's the most effective reactivation strategy you've seen for past patients? There will be nuance here. It depends on what the goal is. We like to go for a straight up offer because we want to make you money quickly. That being said, we can run Google reviews. SMS is a short version, astronomically outperforms every other channel. As an email, people just won't reply. If you get a text message, it works particularly well. The big thing with text messages, because a lot of clinics come to us saying, "Oh, we've ran text message campaigns in the past and they didn't convert." Jess and I were having this conversation yesterday. We don't actually know of any service provider that gets the results that we do with SMS. Partially it's from our strategy, partially I don't know why we get such good results. But text messages with some sort of incentivization offer, perhaps a $50 voucher, but we always make sure to have a minimum spend so that your cash flow is protected on that front. Other effective reactivation strategies have been sort of a raffle style one. But again, Shay, if you want to hop on a call, Jess, our COO, knows the nuances of that. Referral database reactivations, bring a friend, get X amount off, is an amazing way of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You lean on your existing patient base. You also get people in parallel. You generate revenue while the ads are still being tested with minimal extra work for your front desk. Sue Allen, how effective are the AI reactivation campaigns for pet? Yeah. So yeah, Sue, your question. significantly better than cold calls. From a scalability standpoint, it's important to remember that there's a saying that says volume negates luck, and a lot of this is volume. Um, when a campaign is, crafted particularly well, there's going to be factors. How good is your community? How much rapport you've built up? How established are you? But as I said, we've had SMS campaigns where as high as 1 out of every 3 people we texted signed up, and that was done at scale, automatically, completely hands off, no extra effort with your front desk. At the same time, we've had clinics where maybe they haven't reached out to their list in years, so then the reply rate would be lower. But that is why we need to be able to do it at scale without extra man hours on your end. Crest. So Lilith Hudson. Again, guys, keep in mind, I will answer any questions. The floor is open. But if you want me to go specifically for your clinic, I can do a screen share with you guys, do a full audit. I can do this over a call, which again is which is about the above link, or else just drop me an email at tomas@clinicsuccesspartners.com. Lilith, how does the system prevent some of my leads from being over contacted or leading to unsubscribed? This is where the nuance comes in. It's important for us. Actually, sorry, so Lilith, is this referring to new patients or is referring to new patients or existing patients? If it's existing patients, that's where we need to be able to discern, basically. I will say, if you've been running an email campaign, it's usually fairly safe to run an SMS campaign in parallel. Psychologically, people view this as an entirely different thing. That being said, the cadence for contacting people via SMS is incredibly important. We have our own, I suppose, system for how often we do this. But the big thing is segment your list, contact a couple of hundred people or 1,000 people initially, leave the rest of your patient list there and contact them again. But again, Lilith, if you have any specific questions, let me know. Okay. Existing bots hindering my new prospects too. Lilith, it'd be worth mentioning, we probably need to look at the copy of your messaging. It could be a cadence issue. Please make sure to book a call with me and I can talk about this separately. But yeah, there's a cadence called the Fibonacci cadence, and for anyone who studied mathematics, you'll know the Fibonacci sequence. I think it's basically you follow up initially with every 1 day, then 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 8 days, 13 days, and then we would probably drop them into an email. But the speed to lead and the copy, Lilith, would be the big one. So if you're running ads, it's important to make sure that you're addressing a pain point right then and there, and that you're not adding too much friction with the follow-up. So we often recommend qualifying people with ads, with ad forms, and then making it easy on the back end. But again, we can talk about that separately. Michelle Platcher, curious if AI can identify if a lead is booked or just browsing. I can never be accurate on this. Michelle, is this referring to ads, social, like Facebook and Instagram ads, or is this referring to website visitors? I will say, if it is on the ads, this is why it is important for us to add a little bit of friction when running the ad. So we often recommend, whether it's a video or a picture, we're calling out the avatar right away. Hey, are you a woman aged between whatever 25 and 40, and you've got these symptoms? And we want to have a call to action that makes it very clear what will happen next. When people are filling out the form, then we can add a question or two to filter out people that are just browsing. That's honestly the easiest way of cleaning it up. But again, I need to know the nuances. Oh yeah, website visitors. So Michelle, my first question would be, is there a reason why you're relying on website visitors as opposed to ads? Um, because basically website visitors are often, what tends to happen is a few years ago, people would find your website, they take action. Whereas these days, people they, they they look for multiple touch points across different platforms. What may happen is they'll see your ad, then they'll check your website just to do some due diligence. I would add a chat widget to the website. I would add with SMS integration. I would also add that AI software that I recommended that we do set up as part of our test drive to see how users are behaving. Are they actually scrolling down on the website at all? Um, and also, where are they coming from? It's important to know, did they click on an ad, then the website? Were they just looking up your brand name? If you're looking to qualify people and really convert them, the ads are where you should be doing that. Um, right, guys, any other questions? I know I'm throwing a lot of um, stuff out there. No problem, Michelle. As I said, happy to chat with you about this. Make sure to book a call in with me, and I'll go through your specific case. Anyone else? Um, I'm leaving the poll open. There you go. Sorry. Uh, right, guys. Thank you so much, Rosemary. No problem. As I said, guys, if you do want a free audit, see if you qualify for the test drive with the guarantee to see how we can actually implement this for your clinic and pay for your entire marketing budget for any kind of contract, big contract, please make sure to book in your call. As I said, spaces are numbered, and that is because there's a very real limitation to how many clients we can take on at a given time. Otherwise, it may be down the road, but we do tend to get results in the first few weeks. That is the whole reason why we do our test drive. I'll also mention our test drive is literally a 4-week window. So you're not going to be tied into some agency that's saying 7 months down the line, hey, we're still learning. If we don't show you that we're legitimate in 4 weeks, you get a full refund and you still get the audit. So there really is zero downside and maximum upside. So yeah, make sure to book in the call. Okay, question for Rodney. Also, if we do think you're a good fit, as I said, you can expect a call from 888-573-2135, and we can get some feedback from you. Rodney, your question, how do you see patient expectations evolving as AI becomes more mainstream? Again, it's all a marketplace. So speed to lead is going to be massive. You will be left behind if you're not doing it. I've actually ran a lot of, I said my own background was biomedical engineering before we got into this. So very familiar with the tech space as a whole. In clinic, there's going to be different. I would see outside the scope of this, probably some sort of centralized data point for all patient information. On the actual marketing side of things, though, people are expecting seamlessness, as little friction as possible. You know, we're in a generation where people are doom scrolling TikTok or Instagram for hours at a time. They want things to be easy. So convenience is the name of the game. That's why McDonald's is and Amazon are the businesses that they are. So people will expect to be replied to immediately. They'll expect things to be answered immediately. They expect things to be booked in easily. Because what's going to happen is in a town of a couple of thousand people or 100,000 people or whatever it is, if one clinic has a seamless experience, you know, a rising tide raises all boats. It basically it boils down to, are you the one leading the wave and making everybody else look bad, or are you being left behind with a system where your front desk, you know, you get an interest lead on a Friday evening and your front desk doesn't reply until Monday morning. Like that's where the delta, the difference between you and the competitors will kick in. All right, Lilith, McDonald's getting hungry now, Mackie D. Marty, drop in your McDonald's order because I might get a chicken legend myself after this. Um, yeah, guys. So as I said, like I'm here to help. Shamelessly, I hope this provided value for you one way or another. Um, but as I mentioned, if you want a free audit specifically for your specific needs, website, front desk, sales team, marketing automations, database reactivation, as I said, we do have an extremely affordable test drive that's at cost, full refund if we don't make the money back in booked appointments, and the upside is huge, as much as $40,000 in the first month, and then that pays the entire ad spend, and then you unlock a new way of getting patients in an extremely scalable and trackable way. All right, guys. Katrina, Matt, Lilith, Rodney, Gary, everyone, I appreciate it. Michelle, I look forward to seeing all of you guys on a call. I'll keep my calendar open. Does anyone have any last questions, or are we good to wrap this up? Jean, if you want to finish anything, let me know. Any last questions? Not everybody at once, but I appreciate it, guys, and I'm happy to chat later. Geraldine, appreciate it. I appreciate your appreciation. All right. Cool, guys. Listen, appreciate you, Raphael. Likewise. Guys, as I said, this is as much value as I can provide in an hour and a half for an audience of 40 people. There will be nuances. I fully understand that. So if you want to talk one-on-one, we can definitely do that. Jean, will this recording be sent to people after?
Yes, it will be
Sure.
sent to everybody that was on this call.
Appreciate it, guys. All right, so make sure to book a call in if you want this one-on-one. Otherwise, I may give you a call. You can also expect an email with my calendar booking link. I'll also drop in my email, like I said, Tomas, in the event there's any issue. But I don't think it should be an issue. Jasper, namaste. Yeah, all right, guys, we'll leave it at that. This is the part that I'm worst at, how to actually finish these up. Jean, is there a special catchphrase I should be saying at the end of this? Anything fancy? All right, no, not. All right, I'm gonna let this fizzle out before I kill the mood. But thanks so much, Emilio, and I look forward to talking to everybody. And yeah, to the next one.
Thank you so much, Thomas. This was so informative, and we'll speak soon.
Thanks, guys. See you on the call.